If you're a real estate agent or broker, this show is for you. Chat with Agents is both a podcast and a movement created to inspire you to be the digital real estate agent that you were born to be. Here's your host, Kevin Weedmark, broadcasting another stimulating episode of Chat with Agents.
Hello and welcome. This is Kevin Weedmark, broker-owner of Hallmark Realty Group, located here in Southeast Michigan. Hallmark is the most advanced digital marketing real estate firm in the state of Michigan. But today we're going to take a step back. I always get a lot of questions, and I'm meeting with a lot of agents. Right now, Hallmark Realty Group is going through a growing period. We're actively looking to add agents to our team. And therefore, I'm conducting a lot of interviews, sitting down with a lot of agents that range from people that are doing multi-million dollars per year to agents just getting their feet wet, tapping their toe, determining whether or not this is going to be the right business for them. And the agent that's been successful, they've done a couple $1 million per year, anywhere from 2 to 5. They'd like to get up into the $10 million range if possible. They're kind of on the fence whether or not they would like to have a team or they're going to be on their own, and what that's going to consist of, bringing somebody on, adding other agents or buyer's agents perhaps. But it always comes down to the following. So when I'm sitting down with these people, and this is what I really want you to get out of today's talk, is how important and how critical it is. Because when I sit down with these people, my question is always the following. What are your goals for 2016? And I would say 95% of the time, which I know is a large number, people need to stop and think about it. And what that means to me, and what that kind of shows me, and what it kind of confirms for me is they don't really know. They believe that they have an idea. They've given it some thought, but they're not really clear and precise on exactly what it is their goals are. For me, I write them down every year. I do it. That's why I love the beginning of a new year. It allows you to somewhat erase the previous year and begin anew. And I think it's an awesome time. And I'm happy to share those goals with you, but I'm not going to sit here and do it on this podcast. I think incentivizing you to learn how to goal set and kind of the approach to goal setting and why it's so important. Because to me, again, this is the most critical step for any professional, any person in life, and more specifically, like we're talking about for a real estate agent. I think it is a critical thing to do. So like I said, when I'm sitting down with these people, more often than not, they don't know what their goals are. So today, that's what we're going to talk a little bit about, is how important goals are, what you should do when goal setting, because this is something at Hallmark Realty that is a must. Anyone that comes on needs to have a written set of goals. They're going to share them with me as the broker owner, because my job is to help my agents be successful. I want them to be awesome. I want them to be the best they can be in not only real estate, but in life. Because if they're also successful in life, whether it be, a wonderful husband or wife, a wonderful mom, a wonderful dad, a wonderful sister, brother, somebody that contributes back to the community, whatever the case may be, that's going to resonate over into your business. Because again, in real estate, what are we in? We're in a people business. Every day we're interacting with the general public, people that we've never met before, somebody that, we have to build a rapport with, a trust. And what's going to happen is your goals are going to take over your subconscious mind. And we're going to get a little bit more into what I mean by that. And you're going to naturally, by the laws of the universe, attract those people to you. They're going to want to be around you. They're going to believe in you, trusting you, that you're going to get the best, top dollar for their home, that you're going to sell it quickly for them, that you're going to have, always have them first and foremost. Your fiduciary duty in mind is to represent them and do it ethically and honestly. And you're going to be able to search out for them the perfect home should they be on the buy side. So it's really critical to, goal set for both business and life. There's three things that I like to say that you need to do when you're setting up goals, okay? And these are 6 areas that I believe where you should set goals. And number 1 to me is always family and home. I say it to all our agents. I say it to my business partners. I say it to other colleagues, whoever the case may be. To me, family is first and foremost for me. I have 2 children, 16, 14-year-old. I have my mother, my sister. I mean, to me, they're the most precious people. And when I include family, I also include my very close friends. I have some very close friends in 7th grade. I love them like brothers. And I wouldn't trade any of that for the world. So to me, when I'm goal setting, my family and my home is my number 1 priority. Okay. Number 2, it's my financial and my career. Where do I want to be? What do I want to do, financially? What type of goals am I going to have? How much money do I want to make? And I don't think that's ever a bad thing. I mean, everyone's always like, oh, you're greedy, or geez, you goal set. Yeah, absolutely. I goal set like that. I am a very driven person. I want to help you become very driven, and you, no matter who you're working for or whatever you're doing out there, you need to be a driven person. And saying that you want to make a certain amount of money is going to help you get there. You can't have a goal of, well, I don't really know how much I want to make, because you know what? You don't know if you're ever going to get there. If you don't have a goal, you're just running around amok. The other thing is spiritual and ethically. You always want to have those type of goals for yourself. Physical and health, that's always a big one, right? Right around the first of the year. I belong to a couple local gyms. I do some training for people as well. I'm extremely active from a physical and health conscious standpoint. And right, the first of the year, oh boy, the gym packs up. Everyone's got all these goals. They're wonderful and so on and so forth. But then by, January, they kind of fade out. By the end of January, by the beginning of February. And we'll get into why that happens. And then the last one is just social and cultural, mental and educational. Like, where do you want to go from an education standpoint? How much time do you want to spend getting a little bit more fine-tuned, maybe becoming an accredited buyer's agent, things like that. And from a social standpoint, what are your goals to give back to the community? I mean, do you have goals like that? Do you have goals not only to give back to the community, or maybe you want to work with seniors? I mean, one thing that I do with my kids, I pull them out of school. People always look at me. They're like, you pull them out of school for this? And my answer is absolutely. We work soup kitchens. I love working soup kitchens. I think there's nothing more empowering than taking your time. You're getting nothing for it other than making somebody else's day awesome. I mean, I've never seen people that have so little. It's freezing outside in southeastern Michigan sometimes. And these people come downstairs, they're bundled up. They are so cold, but they're so thankful for some food and warmth. And it's so empowering. So that's definitely one of my goals as well. So let's get into it a little bit. So when I sit down with agents and when they come on board on Hallmark Realty Group, I spend a lot of time on this and helping them set up some goals. Because again, it doesn't matter what aspect of life, personal, business, we need to set these goals so that I have a very good understanding of where they want to go so I can help them develop a plan of how to get there. I need to know what's a priority. I need to know what their weaknesses are and their strengths. So number 1, I always like to say we need to set some goals that motivate you, right? Things that are going to be become a burning desire. One of my favorite books, and I'm actually reading it again right now. This is, I don't know, I'm up to like probably the 7th time I've read it, is Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, I love that book. It's so inspiring. It's so encouraging. It's got such a wealth of information, and it gives wonderful stories of people in the past who have just had such a burning desire and a vision, right, of where they wanted to go, that it empowers other people around them. And that's really what I'm saying with the number 1 is setting that goal that motivates you. You want to make sure your goal is motivating. You want to know, what's the why, Why is it, so important to you? You got to ask yourself, if I was going to share this goal with others, what would I tell them to convince them that it's a worthwhile goal? And it's got to be empowering to you. It's got to be something that just every day when you wake up, it is a glaring reason of why this goal is going to motivate you to do the things that you need to do to get to that goal, right? And this could be, take it from a career standpoint. Hey, I want to make $300,000 this year. Okay, that's a great goal. What's motivating me to do that? It's going to be the other things that are also my goals. My family. I want to have a different lifestyle. I want to travel more. Whatever the case may be, whatever that goal may be, it may be to get to a really remote island. It may be to travel internationally and give back. I mean, whatever the case may be, it's got to be that burning desire. So you got to set that goal that's going to motivate you, that every day when you wake up, it's a positive reinforcement and off you go, guns blazing. You are ready. The second thing that I like to talk to people about when you're setting goals is you got to set smart ones. I know that almost sounds easy, and you're like, well, what isn't every goal smart, right? It's my goal. And I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, some goals, people at times get negative, and they don't even realize that it's a negative goal. But we want to set smart ones. So we want to be specific, very specific about what we want. Like I said, when it comes to money, I want to make $300,000. I want to make $1 million. I want to close 200 transactions this year alone. So then it's got to be measurable. Again, a dollar amount of how much you want to make is measurable. How many homes you want to sell is measurable. It's got to be attainable. So that's another smart goal, right? I'm all for setting lofty goals. I always like to go high. I think it's awesome to shoot for the stars. I have no problem. So from me, an attainable one, that's, it's kind of relative for you. I never like somebody to, because what happens is if you set a goal and you're like, well, I'm going to set this one and it's, I made $100,000 last year. I want to make $500,000 this year. I mean, I want to make $500,000. But in the back of your mind, you don't believe it's attainable. You got a real problem. That goal is never going to come to fruition. You need to believe that you're going to achieve that number. Okay, so we're going to set attainable goals. We want to make sure that goal is relevant. Is it relevant to who you are as a person, to you morally, to your other goals? Is it contradicting those other goals? Goals cannot contradict one another. So, for instance, you can't have a goal that says, well, I want to make a $500,000 in real estate. However, I don't want to get on the phone. I'm not going to make those calls. I'm not going to go door to door. And I want to work like 2 days a week. It's not going to happen, right? They got to be they can't contradict one another. I want to buy a $700,000 home, but I only want to make $50,000. I mean, that can't work. Those numbers don't jive. So you got to make sure that they're relevant with one another. And the last one, and I think this is really important because it gets overlooked, it's got to be time bound. You have to have a specific time frame of when you are going to achieve these results. So again, in Q1, I'm going to close this many homes. I'm going to make this much money. Q2, I'm going to make this. And then you're going to have a yearly goal. And that yearly goal should equate to all these other little small goals. But you got to have time-bound time to it so that you hold yourself accountable. All right? So those are the big things that I wanted to stress there. And those are two things right there that you got to do when you're goal setting. The next one, and it's something I always, in these interviews when I'm sitting down with agents, the 5% that say, oh, they got goals, or let's say the other 40% that say, yeah, I have goals, but they're kind of unsure, and I can tell they're unsure. I always ask them, how important do you think it is to write those down? And inevitably, it's about 100%. Yeah, I think absolutely you should write them down. But nobody does it. I mean, nobody does it. My goals are written down right in my journal. They're written down there because I carry that book with me everywhere I go. I carry it to appointments. I carry it to meetings. I carry it, it's out in front of me on a daily basis in front of my desk. It's where I jot all my to-do things, personal. Everything is down in there. But I can always flip to that page for encouragement of what are my goals? What are my objectives? And am I on track? Do I need just a little bit of encouragement to remember to myself that, hey, life is hard and it's not always going to be wonderful. But by writing them down, it's going to continuously reinforce in my head what is a priority to me? What am I shooting for? What is the real purpose? Okay, so, you got to frame everything positively, and you have to write goals down. The other thing by writing goals down is what it's going to do is it's going to build, your mind is a wonderful thing. Your mind is almost like a garden. If you fertilize it with positive seeds and with encouragement and with goals, specific goals, I want to make, boom, $300,000 this year. That goal is going to be so much a mantra of who you are. You have the burning desire of emotion with it that it's going to inspire you. It's going to exude off you, and your subconscious mind is going to believe it. And by your subconscious mind believing it, because you've now written it down and you look at it continuously and you're always reminded of what your goals are, the laws of attraction of the universe are going to flock to you, and those goals are going to be realized. The power of writing it down is essential. You cannot just have the goals in your head of, oh, this is where I want to be, because life gets in the way. It does. I mean, from kids to family to spouses to, oh man, I got stuck in traffic. I didn't have time for this. I got to do that. Oh, I got to get to the store. You forget. I always suggest you write them down and you read them first thing in the morning as you're stretching or whatever you want to do, drinking your cup of joe, and you read them to yourself at night. The other thing with goals, you can't have a ton, right? Life is short. There's only so many hours in a day. You got to have anywhere from 5 to 7 to 5 to 10 goals that you're going after. You prioritize them, and those are going to be what drives you. The next thing you need to do is once you write them down, and this is where at a homework it really helps. I sit down with all these agents, and once we have the goals established, they've written them down, and it's such an empowering feeling. I mean, you should see their faces. Everyone's like, all right, I can do this. This is awesome. It's fun. Frankly, it's fun. It's almost like winning the lottery, right? When we just had the Powerball here in Michigan, and I know it's in other states if you're listening from someplace else. I mean, you're looking at that Powerball, and one of the things they had on TV was, what would you do with $1.5 billion? And it's a blast to think about what you would do with that much money. I mean, things that you could accomplish, people you would give to. Again, those are goals, right? The goal is, okay, I'm gonna make $1.5 billion, but what's my action plan once I do it? Like, what am I going to do? So, you goal set and you get all that. And so everyone gets excited. But the problem is that, once again, now you got to step back. What's my action plan? What am I going to do to get there? So if it's, hey, I want to make $300,000 this year. Then my next question is going to be for an agent is, okay, what was your average home price last year, bought or sold? Let's assume it was $250,000. Correct? All right. That's great, Kevin. My average was about $250,000. Awesome. So now we just do some simple math. To get to a goal of making $300,000, you need to sell $10 million in real estate. At 250 times 4 is 1 million. So you have to have 10 of those. You need to do 40 transactions this year alone to attain that goal. So what's your action plan now to get there? Okay, I got to sell this many homes per month, which means I need to make these many calls. I need to knock on this many doors. I need to set up lunches with past clients, 2, 3 a week. Take people out. Let them know what I'm doing. What am I up to? And what you're going to do at that meeting is talk about what? Them, what's going on in their life, what are their goals. You're going to then exude what your goals are, and the power of attraction is going to take over. So you need to make an action plan. That's a critical step. You need to drive down into those goals. Those aren't going to be the things that you say to yourself every night. Okay, so let's not be mistaken. You're not going to lay in bed and be like, okay, I need to make 40 calls tomorrow. I need to do this tomorrow. I need to do that tomorrow. You can think about that. That's written in your book. Yeah, that's your action plan. But your subconscious mind is going to pick up on, hey, these are my 5 to 7 things that are most important to me. That's what I'm going after this year. I'm going to make $300,000. I'm going to see my mother 5 times this year and develop that relationship, so on and so forth down the line. I'm going to be driving a BMW X5, brand new, things like that. Your action plan is how you're going to get there. How are you going to develop that stronger relationship with your mother? How are you going to make your $300,000? Okay? We got to develop that action plan, and you got to, again, you got it. Write it down. And here's the biggest thing. You need to stick with it. There is no free lunch in life. You know, as they say, what's the old saying? Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither are your goals. Again, this is a lifelong strategy. You're developing a career. Whether you're already a significant producer, your action plan and sticking with it is going to ensure that you are a top end producer year in and year out. You can't get away from thinking mentally and sticking with your plan. If you're somebody new, you can't put in 1 month of effort and say, Jesus, it's not working. No. It is working. You need to believe it's working. So there's different aspects of, hey, let's look at your goals. And I continuously sit down with my agents and say, do you believe it? Do you have such a burning desire to have that goal that nothing is going to stop you? When you have those two things and you stick with it, there's nothing that can stop you. I can guarantee that you are going to get there. All right? Out of the book of Napoleon Hill, one thing that I always like to say is, in reading something straight out of the book, it's every human being who reaches the age of understanding of the purpose of money wishes for it, right? There's nobody out there that we know that doesn't wish for more money, because money brings so many wonderful things. You can argue, well, it's really hurt some other people. Correct, but done correctly with the right mindset, it's done wonderful things. Wishing will not bring riches, but desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches, and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring riches. I read that and I was like, that was the 5 points right there. It sums it all up. It sums up the 5-pronged approach that we just discussed, which was, we got to set goals that motivate us. We need to set some SMART goals, okay? We need to write those goals down. By writing those goals down, we're building that burning desire, and we're basically training the subconscious mind to already believe we're in possession of the money, to already believe that we sold those 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 homes, to believe that we have a 7-person, 10-person team managing multi-million dollars of real estate. We also then, that sums it in that we need an action plan, right? Backing those plans with persistence, sticking with it. But backing those plans, what's our action plan? How are we going to get to those goals? So again, I hope you really enjoyed this. I hope this was inspiring. I could sit here and talk all day and beat a drum, but you really need to sit down and you need to focus yourself on what your goals are. And I can't encourage it enough. Be specific, write them down, and develop an action plan of how you're going to get to those goals. And you're going to, the mind is going to be the law of attraction. You're going to attain those goals, and it's going to be an empowering year for you in real estate. Again, I hope you really enjoyed today. Again, my name is Kevin Weedmark with Homemark Realty Group. If I could ever do anything for you, or you'd like to discuss a little bit more about goal setting, I'm always here and available. My number is 248-854-9233. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll be back to you next week of, okay, now that we have these goals, let's get rocking in real estate. What tools are available to you, and what can you do to make yourself a success now that you have your goals in place? Have an awesome...
It's time to join the digital real estate movement and operate like the real estate entrepreneur you were born to be. If you live in Michigan and you want to receive 100% of your commission, call Kevin now at 248-854-9233 for a confidential meeting.